Hello and welcome to Jurassic Reviews. On this episode we'll be taking a look at a rather unique looking figure from NECA. That figure is the Godzilla 1956 poster version. Before we begin, let's take a look at the box, which is awesome. The front of the box features the famous Godzilla King of the Monsters poster that this figure's paint job is based on. That film was the American cut of the original 1954 film, though heavily edited and featured new scenes with actor Raymond Burr. Here's the side of the box, and here's the back of the box. This figure is actually a repaint of NECA's Godzilla 1954. The sculpt is exactly the same, as is the articulation. I thought I heard that NECA was going to be changing the tail, giving it more ball joints like the newer releases, but that doesn't appear to be the case here. This figure stands 7 inches tall, and is about 10 inches long from head to tail. Like I said before, the sculpt is identical to the 1954 version, which until the release of the NECA Godzilla 1962 was in my opinion NECA's best Godzilla figure. It has great likeness to the movie. All the creases and scaly textures look great. The proportions do seem just a little odd, mainly just the dorsal plates seem a tad small and the head's kind of big. His tail remains the same length, so like the other older NECA figures, it's on the small side. Despite these issues though, the sculpt is still solid, especially the head and its huge eyes. I absolutely love the expression on this figure. Now let's move on to the biggest change to this figure, the paint. Similar to SH Monster Arts, NECA went with a paint scheme based on a poster. The poster, as previously mentioned, is on the front of the box. And on the inside cover it even shows this figure in its place. The paint scheme does indeed match that poster really well. The body is painted 2 different shades of green, and an underlying charcoal gray that looks just like the original version. The green paint makes this a quite striking looking figure. This green color on the poster actually helped spread the misconception that Godzilla's main color was green, when it is in fact charcoal gray. As far as I'm aware, he only appeared green once in the films, in Godzilla vs. Megaguirus, and he was also green in the Hanna-Barbera cartoon. Besides the green paint, the other part that sticks out is the pink and red dorsal plates. The inner part of the plate is black, but then it transitions to a red color, and then pink paint is found near the top of each plate. I actually dig this paint job on these plates, and it contrasts really well with the green paint on the body. Moving to the head, you'll find its piercing white eyes with black pupils. In the mouth, you'll find its white painted teeth, though for whatever reason the bottom row of teeth changed to gray paint. Its tongue is painted black, but there's also some green paint mixed in. The fingernails are painted green, and the toenails are painted gray like the original release, though with some green paint on top of each nail. This figure also came with an atomic breath accessory piece, which matches the color found on the poster as well. It looks really cool. There is one additional part to this set, and that's the display stand. It's made of cardboard, and you just have to cut a couple pieces, but once together it makes for an awesome display for this figure. Even though it's such a simple thing, I really love that NECA did this. They really went above and beyond here. Moving on to the articulation, it remains the same from the previous release, though the joints on mine are much more loose than my 54 version. This might be different though from figure to figure. On its head, its mouth can open and close. It has two different points on the neck and head that allow for a good amount of movement there. There's also a point around the torso that allows for just a little bit of movement. This is similar to other NECA figures. Its arms have 4 points on each of them, and the ones on mine move pretty well for the most part. The joint for the fingers on this one is the one tight area on my figure, as I can get better movement there on my 54 version. Moving to the legs, there are 3 points, and both of mine seem equally movable. And then there's the tail, which features 4 ball joints on the larger part of the tail. The end piece remains the same as the 54, just using a bendy wire. It's a little disappointing that NECA did not redo this part of the figure and include more ball joints. It's sort of this figure's only main downside for me. Before I give my rating for this figure, here's some quick comparisons. Here it is with the NECA Godzilla 1954. Here it is with the SH Monster Arts Godzilla 1954. Here it is with the NECA Godzilla 1962. Here it is with the NECA Shin Godzilla. And finally, here it is with the NECA Godzilla 2019. For a rating out of 10, I give this one an 8. The sculpt remains the same from the 54 version, which was already really good. The paint job is really unique, and I love that it came with something to display him on. I would have liked for it to have more ball joints in the tail, but the articulation on this one overall is good enough. If you missed out on the NECA Godzilla 1954, this is a pretty cool option. I recommend picking this one up. And that does it for the NECA Godzilla 1956 poster version. Thanks for watching and see you next time.